Hi, thanks for watching. I just wanted to make a small tutorial for people that are completely new, Star Citizen, how to get going and retrieve your ship and get out on your first quantum travel, and how to use the terminals and some of the key setup and mappings for the game. So, and I also have to apologize for my bad English. I'm not a native English speaker. I'm speaking Norwegian. My daily language. So here we are at Port Olisar. This is, I believe, where most are starting out when they enter the game for the first time, and we are in one of the easy hubs. That's just basically a small sleeping area where you're entering the game. So all the different stations and cities where like in the rest areas and such have different kinds of these. So this is always where you wake up, regardless of where in the universe. So to get started, you can just press Y on your keyboard to get out of the bed. You can look around and move. If you see the panel here started glowing with like an orange line around it, that means you can interact with it. And the interaction button, the default button for interacting is F for Foxtrot. And if you know it's a single action panel you're interacting with, you can just press it quickly and it will do the action. Or you can press and hold it to get a list of all the options. Here it is just one option, and that's open. So if I just press F quickly, it will open. So now I'm just gonna exit the Easy Hub deck and go down to the main deck on Port Olisar, where the shops and ship deck are. And also enjoy the lovely view you have of Port Olisar and the Crusader gas planet it's orbiting. They really have good. They really did a great job with the graphics and the scale of everything in this game. Yeah, there is also a few shops here at Port Olisar. You have a defense shop, and that's selling like armor and suits and things like that. They have something here you can view and watch how it looks, and also view the details of if you go in close and press F on it. But to purchase the most of the stuff they got at, you have to use the panel here, and this works like the door panel on the Easy Hub. You can see the orange glow around it, so that means you can hold F and press use with the mouse button. Then you get a list of every item they have and more information about it, and then you can buy it. A quick note about the armor. If you're going to mine, like in caves and such, like FPS mining with the multi-tool, you have to have some torso armor. And that is because you don't have any pockets on your undersuit. And without pockets you can't stow away the ore when you mine it out, so you can take it. So, good tip if you're venturing out to do some mining. They also have a weapon shop where you can buy like rifles and guns and SMGs and ammunition for them, and also just for trying it out. You can also view the details of the different attachments and rifles here, and try it out if you want to see how it works. And here is also the terminal you have to use to buy everything that's not the presentation. There is different stores on a lot of different planets and cities, so this is just two. If you're gonna buy the mining tool, like the multi-tool with the mining attachment, you have to go to Lorville. I'm not sure where else they sell it, but perhaps they sell it somewhere else as well. But I know they sell it at Salmon Sons, I believe, at the Lorville Metro Center. But so, yeah, how to get going with your ship. Here you have the ship deck. and a lot of ship retrieval panels, and also just press F and use. And since it's a beginner's tutorial, with the note that I'm not that experienced myself, I've been playing it for a little while, but I'm not very experienced. I just have grasped the basic myself. So I'm just gonna use my RSI Aurora. I'm gonna retrieve it, and then I'm gonna assign a landing pad where it's gonna be available for me. Alpha 07. To get away from the consoles, you just press backwards or just to walk away from it, and then it will. So 07, that's 05 to 08. You're just gonna follow that, and now you can see on the screen where it is located. The 05 to go. It's usually a good trick to follow this. The first time I was here, I didn't know what to look for, so I ran around pretty much before I found out where to go. And the view is amazing. I really amazed how great looking they have made it. There we go, inside the ship, and enter the pilot seat. And I just want to show you something about the controls. I'm just gonna power up the ship. You just use the F button here as well, since it's interactive panels. And I'm gonna make it flight ready.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride.
While my shields are powering up, I'm just gonna show you some of the key bindings. I'm using an X56 HOTAS along with my keyboard and mouse. And there is some points you should be aware of. On the HOTAS I have the main throttle and the main stick, and on those I have some small thumb joysticks with also 2 axes on each. So I'm using the main throttle for the throttle forward. The reason that I use throttle forward and not throttle forward back for my main is that if I use the throttle forward back, it has to be centered to be idle. If it's all the way back, it will go backwards, and so same if all the way forward too. So that was kind of irritating, so I just made it here, and then it will use the whole axis on the main throttle. So 0 is really 0. And the throttle forward and back, I'm using the thumb joystick on my throttle, the x-axis, and the left and right I'm also using the y-axis on the thumb joystick on the throttle. And this I use for precision maneuvering, like when landing or navigating other places where it can be crowded decks or I don't want to damage my ship. And for the strafe up and down, I'm using the thumb joystick on my stick. And also, look, that it says y-axis rotation, but here it says y-axis rotation input 2. So input 2 is my throttle, and this is then input 1, and that is my stick. Related to that is under controls, you find, you can see here you can choose that HOTAS 1, that is my stick, and HOTAS 2 is my throttle. And this is basically axis inversion settings. So flight strafe forward is the same as throttle forward. And on my X56 it was wrongly inverted, so when I had it like in idle, it was maxing out, so it was 100% when it was all the way back. And that didn't go so well for the first time I tried it. So then you can go in here and invert it, and then it will be correct. So when you're setting up your joystick or joysticks, then you have to tweak it and go in here and set these settings according to what you want. And also take a look at more of the controls here, because you have a lot of different alternatives. Because I haven't done any serious mapping other than the move at the moment. So I probably should do some good mapping on the weapon offensive, but I haven't been in any combat yet, so I'm gonna wait until I'm going out for that to do that. Yeah, another thing. There is something called a speed limiter. You find that under flight and movement and speed. On the relative, that this will usually be bound to the mouse wheel now. But I had a knob axis on my HOTAS throttle that I set this to absolute. So this will be same as setting on that knob. And what this is, if you can see on the HUD, a little line on the left side, moving up and down, that is the speed limiter. So the throttle will never go past this line. So when you're navigating, like for landing and takeoff on spaceports and other places when you need more precision, it's always a good idea to turn this down so you don't get any excess speed. But when you are like taking off from a city like Lorville and have to exit the atmosphere before you can engage in quantum travel, you can just push it up like to max. Get out of the atmosphere as quick as possible. So the ship is all powered up and we're ready to go. I'm gonna fly to one of the moons with quantum travel just to show you how it's done. And the first thing we're gonna do is request a clearing for taking off. And I'm just gonna press the F for Foxtrot button for its interactive panels you can see here. There you have Port Olisar landing services. So if I press the Wi-Fi symbol, it will request takeoff. Should be okay. Yeah. Now I'm using my thumb jam joystick on the HOTAS stick to fly up, and if I also use the little stick I have on the bottle, I can go sideways or forward and back. So I'm just gonna go a little up, away from the space station. If you can see on the speed limiter on the HUD, you can see the white bar rising. That is the actual throttle you have. So, when you're going to quantum travel, you have to choose your target or destination, where you want to go. Then you can use the F2 button on your keyboard to bring up star map, and it will always be zoomed in on where you're at the moment. So we are at Port Olisar, and the green line represents the altitude from Port Olisar. We are about. So if I zoom out with scroll wheel, I can set a course for example, Daymar. Set route. Then you will see up here, it will say you have 583 in. That's the quantum of quantum fuel you have at the moment, and this, self-explanatory. Required fuel to get where you're at. This can be pretty good information if you're gonna traverse the universe and see if you have to make a pit stop before you get where you to refuel, so you can get away from where you're going as well. So I press F2 again to take away. And if you see, you have a little arrow now on the top of the screen. 5-point machine. What's it? That is where the moon be, or the destination for quantum travel. And to spool up the quantum drive, you just press B for Bravo on your keyboard. So you have to spool up and calculate. And when that is done, you can press and hold the B for Bravo button to engage.
Quantum drive is now on. Landing gear raised.
Yeah, and I didn't raise my landing gear. That's kind of a new error. But it's just a demonstration. So, there you go. Now we are back on hydrogen propulsion.
Quantum drive is now off.
Now, if I want to, I can just fly straight down and land everywhere on the moon. I can go down and prospect for ore to mine, or just for exploring. It's, the universe is quite complete, so it's fascinating that you can just... So, what I'm gonna do next is just make my way back to Port Olisar and request a landing, so you can see how the landing process is. Back to Crusader.
Quantum drive is now on.
As you see, I'm also using track IR when I'm in the ship, so I can look around.
Emergency stop.
Okay.
Radar contact.
It's good.
Quantum drive is now on.
See if it works. I believe it's because of the enemies. Yeah. I think that was a lucky shot. We could easily have been attacked there.
Quantum drive is now off.
Yeah, I'm using track IR so I can look around, but I have that disabled in first person view, so I can it's just irritating when you're walking around. But in the ship it's quite useful. It's useful just because it's beautiful graphics all over. But also it's quite useful when you're landing. You can just easily watch down to the sides and see where you have to go. So, here we are. If you can see on the panel here, it says we are 6,019 kilometers from Port Olisar. That is not correct. So this list is outdated, so I have to refresh it. Close enough. Or it can also be a bug. It's still an alpha game. Try to call.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Yeah, it worked. Then they are assigning me a landing pad, and you can see that the wrench icon that symbolizes where I can land, and so flashing blue square around it. The wrench icon is because it supports refueling and repairing of the ship, and if you are traveling far with quantum travel, you use up a lot of fuel. So it could be good to refuel it when you can. Excuse me. To take down the landing gear, you just press N for November on the keyboard.
Landing gear deployed.
If you see on the key bindings, you have also this cheat sheet here, so you can see what is what. So here you have the landing mode. You can also use auto land, but I don't. I think it's okay to. I think it's okay to do it manually. Now I'm just gonna use my some joysticks again and set my speaker for everything. So there you go. So, as you can see, track hour can be quite useful when doing landings.
Landing complete.
There we go. And speaking about refueling,
Have a pleasant stay.
if you press F1 to get up personal console here, you can go to the wrench icon to the vehicle maintenance service. And it's sometimes buggy, but usually you get up like an amount of credits it costs you to refuel hydrogen and quantum fuel and repairing, and it's usually a 2-digit amount if it's not used up a lot of hydrogen or a lot of quantum. So it's pretty cheap to travel around the universe. I can just take. I think my sound. Okay.
Landing complete.
Oh, wait. So yeah, here it is. And also you got if you a good way to explore the universe if you want to have a good incentive to go around, you can go here to the contracts. I have done a lot of these, or a lot. I have done some of these, and it's basically go to one place, pick up a box, go to another place and drop it off, and then you get paid the amount. And that's a good way to get to learn the universe a little. If you go to Lorville and buy yourself a multi-tool for mining, you can go to investigation missions. Then there is usually to cave somewhere, vicinity. Daymar is one of the moons for the planet we are at the moment. And the caves, in the caves you find different kinds of ore you can mine with the tool and bring back. But also you remember to bring an armored vest, so you have pockets you can bring the ore back with you to sell it on one of the sales terminals. So you find the terminals for selling ore around the section that's called administration or admin in the cities or on the space station. And that's also just a terminal you can interact with to sell and buy commodities like kinds of stuff. I've also planned on making a small guide for mining and selling and buying commodities. Now it's just to exit the ship and return to Port Olisar. Whatever we want. So, hopefully it's been a little useful for you and you got some information, and hopefully you can go out and enjoy the universe as much as I do. So, bye bye.